Hello there, Big Benedict here. We're playing Gears of War 3 on the Series X, and this is my insane difficulty guide and walkthrough. We're currently on Act 1-2. It is entitled Abandoned Ship. So, at the beginning here, we have some polyps coming out of the pipes, and if you ever see me have the default setup of the Nasher and two grenades with the Lancer as well, with less ammunition than like 300 or something like that, you know that I've restarted the chapter. I do enjoy bringing weapons through chapters, but sometimes there are some complications that I have experienced with this game, going through it and practicing it, and you know how you continue, where it says continue. I've not had my continue data preserved, and I've had to restart chapters against my wishes. Get really irritated. But when you come in here, when you've killed about two of the lament soldiers, you will have some polyps dropping in through a shaft in the ceiling. They're coming down right now, so if you want to, and it's probably a good idea, is just to back out of the room, just roll out of the room and deal with those polyps, because they can put you out of cover, and there's no telling what they're going to do. They might come from the left, they might jump over the table, they might come over to the right. There's not that many of them, but of course on Insane it doesn't take many of them to kill you. So we've got a conversation that we can skip. I believe I've mentioned that you can skip conversations in this game. Some of the shorter ones, though, they can't be skipped. There's over to the left, excuse me, there's a pair of frag grenades, but I've got 4, so we don't need any more right now. For some reason, they start you off with a Gorgon pistol for a sidearm. So if you're wondering how I got that, well, you just get that ordinarily, and for some other strange reason, the Gorgon pistol can be filled out and get refills for on the normal COG weapon crates. It's kind of strange. But over here, once you've killed one of the soldiers, on the catwalk up there, there's going to be another one that spawns that flanks you from above. So if you want to throw a grenade up there, or 2 if you have to, don't worry about it, because not only is it a good idea to get him out of the way, but there's, I think, 2 spots where there's frag grenades over here. I'll show you one of the spots. Enemies can't come up here either, so you don't need to worry about that, but you're going to be in close proximity to them, so they can shoot you faster and put you down faster in theory. So over here was the location of those frag grenades, and then you're going to be dealing with a couple more drudges as you turn this corner up here, and we're going to try for some spawn kills, because there's 2 instances where doors get blown and enemies rush out. And I think it's always 3 enemies that rush out. So what's going to happen is we're going to finish this, equip the grenades, and then run up. I didn't realize that this guy down here was still around, so I'm going to finish him off real quick. Switch to the grenades, and the timing over here has to be pretty precise. You're going to get locked in place for a moment, sprint up here, and then wait just a second, and then throw 2 if you have to. And then, did you see what I did? I free arm tossed the second one so that I could get it over there faster. Spawn killing those guys is not, it's a little tricky, but it's not that risky, even if you don't spawn kill all of them, because if you come back here, they're not likely to rush you. And just be aware that, do you know the position where I was throwing those grenades a moment ago? Enemies will spawn over to the right on the catwalk that I'm going to be going onto right now. So you don't want to get pincered, if you can imagine that. But somebody, I think Marcus, but it might be somebody else, says lambent at this point. So if you're wondering what they're talking about, they're referring to this last guy in the office over here. Hold up. He's got a shotgun, so be careful. He can be a little tricky. If you have a death wish, you can rush him, but you don't have a checkpoint for quite. I mean, you haven't had one for quite some time, so your teammates will eventually catch up to you, and hopefully they'll give you an assist. But it's just this last guy, and then you get a nice checkpoint. So once you pull the lever and get your checkpoint, we're going to be doing another instance where we're spawn killing enemies, but this is a little it needs a little explanation, so skip the conversation, and then there's going to be a lever that you can pull over here that you can use to lower cover, and in theory have an easier time killing these 3 locusts. You do want to kill them, and when you see the Y prompt, that's going to lock you in place and put you in a cutscene. And at that point, you don't want to move, because it's not that you're in danger or anything. You just have no reason to move, because what's going to happen is the game is going to move you to another position down the stairs. So equip your grenades, though, and then rush this area up here. There's going to be some polyps that spawn, but you can run past them. And then when you get up to about here, again, I like to aim one and then free toss the second one, clean everybody up with that second one, and then replenish those 2 grenades with some of the ones that are over here. And then I've never had many instances where polyps have ever killed me. The teammates are pretty good at fussing with them. You've got some pretty questionable cover up here, though, so be careful. There's going to be one guy that comes out, and then another one that's holed up in the office. I think it's the same type of deal where it's a final guy with a shotgun in there. I'm not sure, but our teammates finished him off for us. And this chapter does conclude with a boss fight, too, so you really needn't be worried about the boss fight against the Leviathan. The main thing is that you probably, if you haven't played this game yet, or if you're not familiar enough with the silverback controls, there's a silverback manual nearby the 2 silverbacks at the end of the chapter in the silverback hangar. But all it has in that is a collectible, and it has lore in it. It doesn't have anything like button inputs, which would have been more helpful in my opinion. So I will gladly let you know what button presses you need to do on it. So with the silverback, there's a roadie run that consumes a stamina, and then there's also 2 stances with the silverback. You have one stance where it does a chain gun, and that also has a stamina sort of overheating component to it. And when you are overheating, if you press and hold the right bumper, you'll cool it down. So that's the first stance, and obviously you shoot with the right trigger. The second stance is one in which you're locked into place. So to get into stance number 2, which is the rocket stance, you press the A button. It's going to lock you in place, and you'll have access to rockets, and you get 4 rockets, and you'll have then a period of regenerative cooldown that you'll need to have passed to access more rockets. So those are the 2 stances, and then to get off of the silverback, you can press X, and also shooting the rockets is also right trigger. But if you're in the rocket mode and you jump off of it, you can use the silverback as cover if you need to. And you will want to jump off the silverback because the combat with the silverback against the polyps is really risky, just because they're so flighty, they're so fast, and the silverback is strong, but it's a little slow, and you can get killed quite easily on insane, even if you're on the silverback fending off what are in essence bugs or large insects. So it's very silly and stupid, but it's just how the game works on this hard difficulty. So where do you want to stand though when you're fighting this thing? Basically the area where you kick down the gate on top of the stairs is probably the best place to stand. Now on this part over here, there's going to be a door that gets broken down. Now in between the second and the third push from the enemies on the other side of the door, you'll want to throw the grenade. So in between the second and third, 1, 2, there we go, and then you can spawn kill everybody. Now out of that door there's going to be more enemies, but until we've dealt with some polyps, you also get a checkpoint there too, so it's quite considerate. You've got some polyps that you'll want to clear before you go over there and fend off the remaining locust over here. Now, while you're waiting to do this, I can't say that polyps might not assail you. But if you fended off the majority of them, you're fairly safe to just stand over here, wait. And I don't have any particular timing to tell you on this. It's just that when you start seeing them come out the open door, just throw the grenade. There should be a few of them. And then as you can see, I did get assaulted by a polyp as I threw that grenade. And I had a couple of them to finish off. But you really only have to worry about polyps overrunning you if you haven't participated in killing enough of them in between the first and second waves of those enemies out of that door. This conversation cannot be skipped because it's just very brief. And then we'll get over here to the silverback. So, yeah, basically where you kick it down, kick the gate down, I should say, is a good spot to stand. And you're going to be shooting its eye, you're going to be shooting its face, and you're going to be shooting its mouth in specific. Your teammates are always going to tell you where to shoot it. And aside from getting killed by polyps, and it has a couple of soldier lackeys too, but they're not that big of a deal. The objective fail is what you want to watch out for too, because if it clings too much to the side of the platform and bites on it for too long, you'll get a failed objective. So immediately come on up here, and this thing can be taken out quite easily. No, not quite easily, let me rephrase that. Much faster if you use the rocket. So I'm in rocket stance right now. I'm going to be firing at its eye and its face. And believe me, if you only use the chain gun and don't use the rockets, you'll find that it just takes longer to kill it. And when you're looking at a time scenario in which you can fail due to time and your lack of hitting it, you'll definitely want to take advantage of that. So we've popped one of its eyes, and some polyps have come out. And then you're going to be shooting it in its face at this point. If you ever feel uncomfortable, just press the X button to jump off of it. And just due to the nature of the large machines that we're on, and our other teammates in large machines, your teammates can get in your way and things like that. But I used, when I first started playing this back on the 360, like when it came out in 2011 or 2012, I did have quite a few problems on this, but it was just a matter of practicing it. It's really a fair fight. There's not much BS to it at all. But when you switch back into rocket mode, you don't get the rock. Even if you've spent enough time regenerating the rockets, you have to wait until the rockets physically appear on the HUD until you can use them. So just keep marrying the rockets with the chain gun, keep shooting it in its mouth. Again, your teammates are going to be telling you where you need to be shooting it. But if it looks like it's chomping on the side of the platform, you definitely need to be shooting it in its mouth. And again, I can't tell you how good the rockets are. So there's phase 2. It's finished. You've got 3 phases to do of fending off. And I'm gonna recommend that you push forward a little bit over here, just because the spot where the boss ends up over here, you can hit him pretty well if you're at the top of this, not necessarily at the stair level where we were. And here he is. So just keep shooting his mouth and keep using those rockets, boy. The rockets are just crucial for putting him down. And then once your rockets are expended, keep using your chain gun, keep cooling it down with the right bumper, and after a while you'll hear the lovely refrain from Cole. And that has been it for 1-2. I will see you in Cole's chapter, Homecoming. Until then, please take care.
You're gonna be scraping us up in a bucket if you don't get a move on.
Well, find some cover fast, or else you're gonna be swimming in some glowy gravy.